Off camping again, back down Roslin Glen. Decided to try down near the old gunpowder factory. And I fell wood from work, so I'm hoping night in the woods by myself to chill out a bit will help kind of de-stress. But aye, just wandering down to now. It's lovely down here, really warm. A wee bit nervous because I've got a hammock, so I'm going to try a hammock camp tonight. Also doubles up as a bivvy, but not even set up before. Watched a video on it, looks easy but still a wee bit nervous sleeping in a hammock, so wait and see how that goes. I'll show you some of the gunpowder factory sites. It is really nice, nice place to visit, and aye, looking forward to it. So the gunpowder factory, it's got a lot of nice different bits that you can visit, so I'm going to go down by the river here for a wee wander. It's been a few years since I've been down this track. Last time I was down was with the dog, I think, but it's still got remnants of the old buildings and industrial bits and pieces kicking about. You see some of the old structures here. River's looking quite nice today. Wee clearing here, picnic bench. It's nice to come down here and spend a bit of time. So I've got a wee plaque here, tells you a wee bit about it all. Obviously back in the day when it was here, being a gunpowder factory was quite a risky thing, but they used to build all the munition stores and everything into the side of the banking, so if they exploded, everything would go boom out into the river instead of taking out everything round about it. I'm not sure if they had any major accidents down at this one. I know they had a big one down at the one in Dalkeith, and it shattered the windows and buildings for miles around it. I think this one wasn't too bad. See some of the old buildings down there by the river, and I think it's an old wheelhouse down the path here. So I was just reading the plaque there to get an idea on some dates. So it operated between early 1800s all the way to 1954, it was saying, and it supplied gunpowder for ammunition for the wars, as well as blasting for quarries and mines and things like that. Quite interesting. So this is one of the old wheel structures here. I think the wheel would have sat down in this area. Water would have run through there and powered it. Amazing old structure. It's got all the original stone and then later brickwork added as well. Nice. This bit's lovely down here. So you get the cliffs right round the side of the river. So I'll take you around there and we'll have a look. This is a dead kind of picturesque bit down here. See all the shorings starting to come away on the old waterways there. It's meant to be a tunnel network down here somewhere. It's kind of like a drainage network. Not managed to find it yet, but some potholers investigated it. I did find a tunnel up there before once, but it didn't seem to go very far. Another old wheelhouse there. It's dead nice. And you've also got this. We'll walk down to the river and have a wee look. But look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Cliffs. It is proper lovely down here. I'm sure somebody's camped in this building up here before. Did see a fire pit in it once that they'd left. Might still be there. Might still be evidence of human activity. We'll have a wander through here and see what we can see. I'll try not to fall over. Yeah, this is proper nice. So we'll have a wee wander around to the old mill house and have a look, see what's around there. This is old concrete dam. They dammed the River Esk, so it all used to be dammed up over here. But it burst in a storm in fairly recent times. I think it's the last sort of 10-15 years that burst. Obviously they had the spillway here, so they had all their water stored there, their stored energy. They'd open the sluice gates, let all that run into the waterways to power the wheels that we've just walked past. So there's one there and one a bit further along. The tunnels must be in this area somewhere, so I'm going to have to come down and explore one day and see if I can find them. But certainly not managed to find them yet. But it is rather lovely, as you can see. I think these structures, you can see where they're built into the hillside there, are called magazines. And that's what I was talking about. They used to build everything into the hillside, so any accidents or explosions would blast out the way into the river instead of sideways. So we're down in a glen here with lots of tree cover as well, so that also gave protection against accidents, because you wouldn't want it blowing up any adjacent towns. I think I'll find the spot where I'm going to disappear into the woods. I think I'm going to disappear in up to the right here, see if I can find a nice sort of well covered private spot that I won't get any bother from walkers. I've seen quite a few people walking past, but if I go a few hundred yards in, should be alright. Seems to be plenty of firewood. It's all looking very green, but I'll find a nice patch to camp in. I was going to do a wee video obviously when I turned up, but my friend Jim came to visit me again and we went and got firewood, so got a nice big pile over here, set up a log to sit on, made a fire pit, put all the damp logs right round the edge again just to contain it, got it lit, and also got me set up over here. It's a bit dark, but I'll take you over and show you what we've got. So I've got my 3x3 tarp set up, and I've got a nice limb here, a guy rope over it, just to raise the front of it up so I can look at the fire. And I've got it set up between these two trees. The trees are a wee bit far apart, so I put the huggers round, tied a figure 8 loop in my paracord, and then rigged my paracord up with an alpine butterfly onto my carabiner, and then onto my hammock. And then I've got the tree hugger on the other side, adjusted that a bit to get it nice. My paracord was nice and long, so I managed to loop it back around to then give me my ridge line for my tarp. Got my camel ground sheet down, my beer and food for the night. So I've got my mess tin with some pasta, smoked sausage, some Mr Kipling's for after. There's my cook kit there. Got a stove and my billy can, but I might even rig up over the fire. I think I'm going to make a pot holder actually. And then got my new hammock, so just one off Amazon. I'm not a gear snob, so no bothered about buying the best of stuff, but I think this was 30 quid. It came with the tree straps, carabiners, paracord, hammock, and I'm using the tarp that they gave me as a ground sheet. It's a bit too small to use for the hammock tarp. And I've got my tarp rigged up over the top of it, a wee El Cheapo light from Asda LED. This thing's great actually, and sorted. It's meant to rain about 4 o'clock in the morning, so I might even pull this down when it gets to night time, and it'll give me a wee bit more enclosed feeling in the hammock, or I might just lie and look at the fire. But buzzing for it all the same, really enjoying myself. Got 3 beers and some food left, so I'll get that on the go. I'm just going to enjoy having a fire and being out in the woods. It's my own beer number 2. So just kind of chilling underneath the tarp. Might have a wee seat in the hammock. The fire's doing very nice. Got some spits of rain coming on the Tarp, but it's meant to rain tonight. I think we're meant to get some heavy rain about 4 o'clock in the morning. So wait and see how my setup responds. Might end up soaking wet, but give it a try anyway. I'm enjoying it. Getting some funny noises in the trees now. You can hear dogs barking in the distance and some pigeons. I think I can hear an owl as well. It's only my second time out kind of solo camping, so still a wee bit nervous about the whole thing, especially being on the hammock and under the tarp. I know you haven't exactly got much protection in a tent anyway, but it does give you that kind of enclosed comfort, so I think I might be a wee bit long drifting off to sleep, but wait and see how it goes. Do really like the setup though. Love the tarp, love the hammock. Loads of space, nice and open. Getting the heat off the fire as well, it's lovely. Definitely a good spot to camp as well, glad I came here. There's loads of firewood, so I'll be back here. Really nice. Big plans for making a pot hanger and cooking on the fire tonight. I've got my pasta and smoked sausage and all the rest of it, but I forgot to bring my cheese, which I'm pissed off about. I was going to do cheese 3 times. I was going to have mozzarella, some red Leicester and some mild white cheddar. So instead I'm going to have some of these. Honey, it's California, I can't pronounce it, Californian honey and salt flavour sensations, oven roasted peanuts. That's the game, like, they're tidy. And then I might have a wee bit carrot cake after. I might even cook the pasta for breakfast, but I just cannot be bothered at all tonight. So I'm just going to sit and have my beers and enjoy that fire. One thing I'd forgotten to do was to rig up the fly sheet on the hammock. So I've done that now. I've just kind of cheated and used bungees right along the top of the ridgeline. Could use trussic knots with carabinas or something like that. It's actually got 2 tie-off points, so you can actually spread the thing out to give even more headroom. You can also use it as a bivvy on the ground, so I could chuck it down on that fly sheet, pull the tarp right down, or make something out of trekking poles if there's no trees about, and keep me dry. Only thing is the trees are quite far apart, so they must be 6 metres apart, and I've had to use some paracord on top of the tree huggers, the tree loops, just to get the thing working. Luckily I do know some knots. I do a wee bit rope access. I'm just a level 1 rope tech, only go out a couple of days a month as part of my job. Tend to work more in the office, but I do go out occasionally doing a bit of abseiling. So I learnt some knots. Probably the worst rope access technician in the country due to my fear of heights, but I still go and give it a shot. But quite proud of those knots actually, and happy that I got the thing working. Really is a nice fire got going. Lumped most of the wood on it now. My plan for the pot hanger was to have this wee Y branch. I was going to get my new camping knife, whittle down the end of that, and stab it into the ground through the Y branch, over the fire, cook my food. But been a wee bit lazy tonight, and also had a friend come visit me. But sometimes life's about making memories instead of recording them. Probably be a short video, this one, but I've really enjoyed myself all the same. So that's me in the hammock now, about to go to bed. Getting into the hammock, I've done something to my right shoulder. Got a bit of a creak in it and it's sore. I'm trying to get comfy, but the pain's not going away. Also on edge a bit because I heard a load of shouting voices a wee while ago passing on the path below me, and it's 11 o'clock at night now. There's no torches and I don't know what folk are doing out here at 11 o'clock at night with no light. Hopefully I get to speak to you in the morning. Well, that's me just starting to surface, and it's 5:30 in the morning. Had quite a lot of rain overnight, but it was quite nice listening to it on the tarp. Didn't really get any sleep at all. Felt really exposed. Kind of vulnerable, just being under a tarp in the hammock. Could hear every single noise in the trees. So I think after those people being just down on the path about 11:30 at night, kind of spooked me a bit, and then I just not been able to settle at all. I think if I was in a tent I would have got a sleep I know it sounds silly because not that much difference. It's not like you're really safe in a tent, but just that comfort with being in a enclosed space. So it's definitely something I'll need to get used to. But the hammock is very comfy, a lot more comfortable than being in a tent. I nearly dropped off at one point, and then another noise happened. So we'll have to give this a bit of practice. Just want to see the setup in the daylight. That's me up now. So I'm going to get patted up. Going to scrub out the fire pit, pour water on it, scrub it out, and cover it over so you don't know I've been here. And then get all this packed up. The hammock was definitely comfortable, but I just could not get over the fact that I was a bit more exposed, and every noise felt like a person or an animal right next to me, but it was probably just water falling down from the tree canopy. I wish I could have got over that, but it's a learning curve. Just shows the heat you get from a fire. It's been raining all night. There's still smoke coming off this. But I'm just going to put some water on it, and then I'll scrub out all the ashes thereafter. There we go. So that's the fire pit scrubbed out. Poured a load of water on it, scrubbed it out, got rid of everything, covered it back over. You wouldn't even know I've been here. Got to be careful when you're covering it back over, because the ground was still actually quite hot underneath it as well, so made sure I poured plenty of water on it and it was sufficiently cool, because if it's a hot day, the stuff on top of it could potentially dry out and then ignite. So we've got to be careful. But once my wee shelter and hammock is taken down here, I won't even know I've been here. I'm taking my bag of rubbish home with me as well, and leave no trace. So I'm packing up, nearly there. I like to leave the ground sheet till last, so it gives you a nice dry base to keep everything on. As I said, had a load of rain overnight, which all my stuff would be on the forest floor getting wet. You can obviously hang the bag up on a tree or something, keep it dry, but this is a easy way to do it as well. So reasonably happy with these tree straps, being dead solid. I made this side of the hammock a wee bit too high, the other side's a bit low, so I did keep sliding down a bit, but it stayed dry overnight. I think I had a wee bit of water in, might have been that end actually, because I noticed the stuff sack pillow that I made was a little bit damp, but it's all a learning curve. Just need to set the tarp up a bit better the next time. See all my dodgy knots that I was talking about in my earlier video. Just need to take all this down now and get cracking. For next time, to make the hammock easier to set up and to be a bit more prepared, I'm going to make up 2 lengths of paracord. I'm going to get an extra couple of carabiners as well, but I'll tie a figure 8 loop on one end, and then I'm going to tie a series of alpine butterflies, maybe one every couple of 100mm along the paracord. And what I can do is put my tree straps round, clip the carabiner on, and then I've got a load of adjustable points that I can then clip the carabiner from the hammock onto, and that will give me a nice easy way of getting set up. So that's me all packed up and good to go. As you can see, you wouldn't know I've had a fire here. Tried to scatter some ferns about where my ground sheet was as well, just to kind of hide the fact it's all a bit trampled down. Dead impressed with the hammock. For 30 quid to get a hammock, tree straps, paracord and a tarp to use as a ground sheet, I think's pretty good. And it doesn't appear like it's cheap material or anything, it was all dead sturdy. Wasn't any stitching broken or anything like that, so I think that'll do for many camps. Shows you don't have to go spending a fortune on gear to be able to go camping. So I've got a 30 quid hammock and a 20 quid tarp, and then all the stuff that I've had that I've kind of built up over the years. But you didn't have to spend a lot. You could probably spend 100 quid and have enough stuff to go camping. You don't have to go spending thousands and thousands of pounds. As I said, I'm not like a gear snob. Just want to be able to get out in the woods. It's rather beautiful here. I just wish it was less scary at night time when you're by yourself and you can hear loads of creaking noises and dodgy shit going on. But other than that, it's okay. Heard somebody out shooting this morning. I thought there was somebody in the bushes behind me, but it might have been a deer or a badger or a fox or something. But just gotta get my pack on, pick up my rubbish bag, get back to the van, get back home. Lots of lovely old trees down Roslin Glen. This was one that Jim and I were admiring yesterday. And we named it the Goblin. It's got lots of these sort of formations all the way around it. It's lovely. This one in particular looks a bit like a goblin. So I wonder if that's what was kind of creeping me out last night. I think there might be goblins in these woods. Beautiful though. That's me back on the main path now. But I was camping away up in there, only a couple of 100 yards in. So this must have been the path that the people that were making all that racket charged down last night. I don't know where they'd be coming from or going at that time in the dark with no torches, but who knows. I did have my torch on and a wee fire going, so I don't know if they would have seen the light up in there. I did turn the torch off when I heard the noise, but maybe I was a wee bit close to the path for comfort in hindsight. They wouldn't have been able to see me from here, but I think they'd maybe kind of spot the light. Definitely come back to this spot. Plenty of firewood and it is nice. But I need to build my confidence up going solo camping. Or maybe I need to persuade Jim to come out next time, but he was working this morning so he didn't want to come out. If I had a wee bit of company, maybe be a bit more comfortable in the hammock, I don't know. This route's a bit easier on the lungs, it's a lot flatter. The other one had a big hike out in the morning. It's nice on the way there, it's downhill but got a very steep hill. Got another 3 spots that I've camped at down the glen that I'm going to try. Next I'm going to probably go near Roslin Castle, and then there's one sort of halfway between the glen and Polton Brae. It's at a nice corner site in the river, but it's quite popular, but it does take a wee hike to get there. And then also one actually down Polton Brae. So I'm going to try all them out. That's 5 spots that I know of. I need to keep exploring because there's probably, I don't know, 10 times that I can give a try. And there's lots of stuff to look at and see. As I said, there's 3 castle sites that I know of. An old gunpowder factory. I think there's 2 carpet factories actually, one at this end and an old one down at Polton. Then you've got the river, the chapel, lots going on. Wallace's Cave, caves under Hawthorne Den. Brilliant. What's not to like? Checked the old map of the gunpowder factory on my way down, so I actually got it wrong in my earlier description. It's these bits here which are near the entrance from the road that are called the magazines. So you can see they're all built into the hillside. I'm wondering if this is where they stored all their merchandise before transporting it away. I guess in the early days it all would have been done by horse and cart, but I know that this site was popular because it's not that far from the Forth, so they could transport the gunpowder, load it onto a ship and distribute it around the world, or even down south. I wonder how much was kind of stored in this bit that's been hewn out the side of the hill here, and if there was any accidents that ever caused it to be blasted out into the river. Interesting, all the history around about here. That's another magazine there. So underneath all that undergrowth there is a bit of structure, and you can see it's all been cut out the side of the hillside. A lot of steep cliffs. Certainly have to be careful when you're exploring the glen. You wouldn't want to be falling down that. So the one that I actually called a magazine along near the weir was actually an old boiler house. I was looking at the map, so I found it was 2 old wheelhouses, but I noticed on the map near the weir one of them was called wheelhouse number 6. So they must have had about 6 water wheels going to power everything, and they had a load of coal-fired boilers as well. It's apparently it was the biggest gunpowder factory in Scotland, maybe even the UK. I need to check the map again. It's definitely the biggest one in Scotland. So I can imagine the amount of stuff going on down here. And there's a whack more buildings than what I've discovered. You can see a lot of the old foundations, but there's a lot more down here than what you realise when you look at the map. Must have been some place. Just looking at the map of the glen at the entrance here. So I'm currently here. I camped in about here somewhere. The place I camped the last time was round about here. You've got Roslin Chapel and the castle in this area. I believe Wallace's Cave is there. Hawthorne Den Castle's further along. There's an old maiden castle, which if it was on the map would be up here. It's not there anymore because it fell into the river. It's more like a sort of fortified dwelling. And then you've got a way along to Poulton Bray, which has got an old carpet factory as well. And there's numerous walks, trails, things to see. There's a couple of old trees on the castle and chapel side in this area. I think they get called grandmother and grandfather. They're quite a sight. They're massive, all gnarled. Great place to visit. I love it. This is why I wouldn't go swimming in the river. Well, downstream of it anyway. It's the sewage works. It's a bit smelly. It'll all be safe by the time it gets discharged into anything it has to be, but still don't fancy it.